All right, welcome back. So what you're about to watch is a video of a young lady today in an altercation at I think it was airport in, was it in Uyo or in Lagos State? I'm not sure.
Yeah, um, that will be the initial issues happened in Uyo,
In Uyo.
the
So it was a
capital of
flight.
Akwa Ibom State, South Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
But the other follow-up issues, the huge furor that later broke out happened in Lagos.
Right, right.
So,
So in the first frame of this video, you can visibly see her smack the lady hostess on the face, and you can see this play. I'm gonna release the audio so we can hear some of this.
She's hitting me. She is hitting me. She's hitting me.
Hear me. Hear me. You know the thing is, even while she was coming at me, nobody could hold her. Like nobody.
So in some other videos that we obviously cannot play here, you could see her being dragged out of the aircraft. They like almost stripped naked while they were pulling her out of the aircraft. You can actually not here now, but you can visibly see unfortunately her private parts. They were pulling her, and I kept asking myself a question: is there no security agencies with handcuffs, even if you want to arrest a person? Is there no dignified way to do this? But anyway, this particular story. Just a few days ago, you can there was as mentioned earlier on, a very popular musician out of Nigeria, Kwam. He eventually tendered an apology. Let me just play the apology, then we'll talk.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies of the press, here present. I am here to make clarification of the incident that happened on the 5th of August 2025 at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport local wing while about to board aircraft from Abuja to Lagos. The incident is highly regrettable because I have contributed the better part of my life in the past 50 years to the growth and development of Nigeria, my country, art and culture, both in and out of the country. I've been a good ambassador of this great nation, in and out, in very many ways. Somebody
hello?
I'm here, sorry. So I'm not gonna play the full thing. As you can see, he's tendering an apology. I think initially there was news that it was banned for 6 months, and the young
Three
lady who
months.
played, is it 3 months? The young lady earlier on, Ibom Air has banned her for life on their flights, but I think she's also facing some kind of prosecution. The question that I had with the Kwam situation, then I'll let you take it away, sir, is that how are so many random people on the ramp at airport in Nigeria? I don't understand. What's going on here?
Yeah,
Take
thank
it
you
away,
very
sir.
much. I thank you very much. I gave a hint about the issue of quality of mental health, especially for members of the public, generality of Nigerians at the moment. And what is stoking this? What people are looking at, what people are fixated on, um, is the after effect, the what you would call the unusual display of craziness on the part of Nigerians. For example, you set a rule, you cannot do this. Nigerians want to question, why can't we do this? Of
Hmm.
course, people have been pushing this democracy of a thing as the ideal or the best ideal of governance. And if I would paraphrase somebody like a late political sage from Nigeria, the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, he said the best or the most benevolent dictatorship is worse than the best democracy. So we, in our various formative years, whether through history class, through government class or civics, were thought of the romantic ideals of democracy, but people often forget to push on the fact that democracy or love of freedom itself comes with responsibilities. And so, where somebody's right begins, that of someone else stops. Where that of somebody stops, that of another person begins. If all these things are properly laid out and impacted through whatever what's it called? Agencies of socialization, whether through home education or through formal education, people will know better. And there is a body in Nigeria known as National Orientation Agency. These are some of the things they should be pushing ordinarily. However, let's talk about the misdemeanor. That's the way I love to classify it, by both King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal the first, because the man you call Kwam 1, people do not understand most times that that's the way he decided to abbreviate his what's it called? His stage name, his stage title, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal. You know, but he later told us that he was born as Omobolahun Anifowose, and so on and so forth. And he has also told us that his father's house is in Fidipotemole in Ijebu-Ode. By way of background, he made a beautiful presentation at his so-called press conference where he tendered apology. But let me say, the apology tendered by King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal is half-hearted. He apologized to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He apologized to the Minister of Aviation, FAAN, big people, because it is still the same mentality of being a big man. Who are you to talk to me? That got him into the entire avoidable imbroglio. Now, in that presentation, where did he apologize to the rank and file of the aviation, the airport officials that he had direct confrontation with? Because that's the mentality that these people are way too omnipotent. I mean, people that are not special in any way. They are not important personalities. He could not apologize to them directly. Yeah, these were the people he had that confrontation with. And people should get this right. Apology should be
and to be clear, sir, they said he poured water on people. They said he was very aggressive with people. And we saw a video of him trying to stop an airplane in motion. Yes. You know, those are some of the crazy things we saw.
That when you weigh that against the promise of democracy, rule of law that Nigeria ought to embrace as a corollary to the civil governance, the civil democracy that we say we have in that country, you will understand that the thing is not hard enough. The level, I mean, the playing field is not level for everybody. It's a country where there is a standard for people who are high.
For the have and the have-nots, and different for the have-nots.
No, you may not even have, but it's beyond the economic fascism issue that you have mentioned there. It's about the quality of, I mean, embracing the fact of equality before the law, equality of all souls. You know, the spiritual mantra of equality of all souls is what translates in the political realm to what is known as equality before the law. So is one standard for Wasiu Ayinde Marshal. We would not know, we would never be able to determine what was in that thermal, the flask he was carrying around.
He said
that's what he claimed. But some people here are saying there were other, Don't forget there was a king somewhere in Nigeria who poured a substance on is a queen consort, and then a government decided to remove him from the throne as a king in one of the southwest well-known kingdoms. So I don't want to be too specific because this is about the double standard with which people apply the rules in Nigeria. And look at the ambiguity, the irregularity, the impunity with which people were coming out to say, oh, Wasiu has apologized. Who did Wasiu apologize to? Not to the what's it called? Aviation officials at the airport that were directly assaulted, that were directly insulted.
Sorry to interject you, sir. We heard audios of him saying nobody gets away with this kind of stuff. He said nobody gets away.
That is where I'm going to. Okay. You know, way back, during the struggle against some of the harsh policies, especially structural adjustment program (SAP) that Babangida introduced. The then Minister of Information in Nigeria, Chief Alex Akinyele, started saying ugly things about the well-known professor of literature and Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka, saying, "Oh, he's always criticizing the government. After all, he's enjoying perks of office as chairman of a Federal Road Safety Commission and all that." And Professor Soyinka, who was a university teacher at Ile-Ife to Chief Alex Akinyele, said, you know, Akinyele is on drug. And for the journalists who were interviewing, he decoded, he broke it down. He said, it's the unusual kind of drug, not the one you are thinking of. It's called Oju Orolari. You see, the problem of people like King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal is the Oju Orolari syndrome. And yes, people are looking at his material wealth, is well known, is a prodigy when it comes to compositions and stage performance as a juju musician. But the Oju Orolari syndrome is in this sense of entitlement that the man who is the president in Nigeria today is our own, is Yoruba man. But in the final analysis, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is everybody's president in Nigeria, is Nigeria's president, not Omogbolahan Anifowoshe's president. Personalizing it and then making, I mean, people like Ayinde Marshal and his friends, they hardly sleep in their homes anymore.
They live in Aso Rock.
They are always in and out of the place and distracting the man from focusing on the job of providing leadership for every Nigerian. That is how he got into this situation, this fiasco, avoidable as it should be. That is how he got himself into it, entangled as he's been. Everybody is trying to make excuses, but the fact that they are willing, because from reliable sources, he's been able to. I mean, in spite of the fact that they said they placed him on no fly stuff, he's been in and out of Abuja since that unfortunate ugly drama. It's been in and out.
Because eventually it will be forgotten. They will lift it.
In fact, they are not even going to make any conscious effort at doing anything. They will push it. They will push it in the face of ordinary Nigerians, and you can go to hell. For example, that is almost like the tone that came from Abike Dabiri, the so-called chairperson of the Diaspora Commission.
Right.
That's almost like the tone. I mean, almost saying, "What else does anybody want?" He has apologized.
He apologized. Just leave him alone.
What's it called? Do you know what is called Ba Jacomo mi orun waye?
Abigba ajema pa mi je.
Ba ajema pa mi je or mo tọrọ àforíjì bẹ́ẹ̀. I'm apologizing anyhow, whichever way. just whatever floats your boat, suck it up. That kind of condescending and snobbish nonsense from the rich and powerful. Now, you just oppose that with what happened today, or earlier today or yesterday, to Miss Comfort, Miss Comfort from Akwa Ibom.
Yeah.
The standard is that, yes, while an airplane is airborne, everyone is supposed to turn the phone off. But it is not also a must that the phone must be turned off. You can put it in flight mode. And I think that was the option they said she embraced. However, that is not to tolerate unbecoming conduct, indecorous attitude, and behaviors that disturb other co-travelers, and then outright umbrage and insult to the flight crew. That is unacceptable. And if that happened, we all must condemn it.
Right.
However, why should anybody bring out a sledgehammer in order to smash ordinary housefly? Why?
Yes.
Whether whatever Marshal Kwam 1 did, whatever this lady, Miss
Comfort Bob. I see her name as Comfort Bob.
There's still another name to it, to her. Whatever she must have done, both of them, and the man that again was preventing everybody from taking off.
I mean, her name is Comfort Bob Emerson.
That is the one. Emerson is the one I was struggling to remember. So, whatever the situation is both condemnable. But for the assurances of a nation that protects the rights of every citizen, men, women, young, old, all kinds of people, the treatment given to Ms. Emerson is most objectionable and unacceptable. Particularly, they told her to switch the phone off. If it's not about this thing that we are sold out completely to regimental diktats, we must force people by way of authoritarian conduct. You must do it the way I want you to do it. Switch the phone off. The person puts it in airplane mode. Yes, in a flight mode. That should be enough. And then, after she had explained to them, allegedly, I was not there. No other person witnessed it other than the co-travelers there. And this person put it in flight mode. So, what now warranted a situation in which the cavalry had to be mobilized when it was time for her to alight, having arrived Lagos? And then look at the way she was. Where is the dignity of a human person? Nobody is talking about all this. You see, I was talking of how people got to this situation. You know the way people who have to travel by way of domestic flight in Nigeria, how they get violated anyhow. The arbitrariness is too much. There is no integrity about the way domestic aviation is handled in Nigeria. You can arrive at an airport for a flight that is supposed to take off 7 a.m. and sometimes without anybody apologizing to you, you are still sitting down for 6-7 hours. These things walk people to that stage in which they are like, okay, we must go into resistance mode. So whatever is the systemic background, anomaly, the failure that led to all this ought to be addressed, ought to be dealt with. I think it's excessive to want to think that, God saves the government in Nigeria if we don't begin to hear of public disorder, or disorderly conduct, protests everywhere that, okay, the same thing you are doing to comfort Emerson must also, the same mayor must also be dealt against Kwam 1. Otherwise,
a couple of things, sir. I
yeah.
think that last point you were just making is something I've seen quite popular in the last few hours. People want to see a comparable punishment between Kwam 1 and what some people, I've seen some people in my chat saying Kwam 2. I don't know where they gained that from. But
Yeah, because somebody that's been posting all this is talking of Kwam 1, Kwam 2, Kwam 3, Kwam 4.
So
Yeah,
a couple of questions, sir, and I just want to reiterate those questions. Why is Kwam 1 on that ramp?
It's on the ramp
at that point in time. No, it's a rhetorical at this point. I'm just saying, how did we make this far, right? Where a bunch of people, when aircraft is about to take off, are hanging out on the ramp to the point where he felt the need to do what he did. I don't know, maybe he was drunk or something. And then why would the pilot?
Yeah, but
why would the pilot? How did the pilot get the clearance to move that aircraft at that point in time? That's the second question that I have, sir. I'm going to lump the questions together so you can address them. Then when it comes to what's her name, Comfort Bob Imansin, right?
Yes.
Like you've rightfully said, where are the security agencies or just a regular security with a simple handcuff? They don't need a gun. Just a simple handcuff. If you want to arrest a person, you want to restrict a person, the way they were pulling her, she could have hurt herself. She could have hurt someone. It was just...
They probably even ended up hurting her already.
Yes. So because if this was me, if I was either Kwam 1 or Kwam 2, I am filing lawsuits. I don't care what I did to get to that point. I'll be filing a bunch of lawsuits.
You are talking as an American.
Okay,
it's
sorry.
It's because the office of the citizen in the United States of America is the biggest deal. In Nigeria, it's a struggle to even understand that that people exist is an existential issue, dealing with the fact that Nigerians ought to be dignified, ought to be respected. The government only mouths it, whether they are talking of citizen diplomacy or talking of respect for the person of the citizen, whether alive or dead. For example, I watched the kind of discussion between Dr. Ruben Abati and Rufai Oseni the other day, when Abati was trying to make it, what's it called, a teachable moment, a moment for people to be able to learn that graveyards are supposed to be, taken care of, are supposed to be places where people go to honor the memory of the dead. But in Nigeria, where religion has condemned everything, the people who brought the strange teachings that, you cannot honor the memory of your ancestors, it's like ancestral worship and all that. Nonsense. They see the way they take care of, you have seen graveyards in America here. You can sleep there. You go there for picnic. You honor the memory of your departed ones. But in Nigeria, no. Your ancestors cannot be remembered. The psyche of the average African has been affected. And when Dr. Abati was pointing that out to, on the program on what's it called, Arise TV, you could almost see the expression of unbelief and trying to reduce everything to a joke by
trivialize it.
By Rufai
like this one doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's right. The same thing is what is going on in Nigeria. Whether people are alive or dead, they are not respected. The dignity of the human person is not respected, which is why you can see rotten corpses on the streets of Nigeria at times, which is why you can see people being massacred anyhow, and then it becomes the new normal in Nigeria. If somebody drops dead today in the US, the way the body is removed, the way everything is mummified, or Eve is going to be cremated. It is done with utmost respect.
Absolutely.
You dare not overtake. You dare not overtake a funeral procession. The what's it called? The body bearing carrying hearse from the funeral home in the United States. You have to give that moment, that respect to the departed. In Nigeria, it's not like that. It's not like that. And so this is why Nigeria is the way it is. So, to the question you have asked, they have said what was in the flask was water or whatever. I don't know the water from Jerusalem or Lebanon or Saudi Arabia that he was carrying in that.
He said he was dehydrated. He wanted to stay dehydrated.
All those excuses, we will have our doubt, but that's what he has said. But if he's not been drinking something, only God knows what he's been drinking that day from that flask. He would not be that. He would not be acting like a loose cannon there. That is Wasiu Ayinde for you. And I may not know him one-on-one, and I don't really care, but I used to enjoy his music. I think my friend Dr. Olasende Bello introduced me to his music, and you know, all those things.
I mean, respect to Kwam, but we need to do better.
Yeah, good. The point I'm making is this.
Yeah.
Whatever he's been drinking could have affected
his judgment.
The judgment for that moment. And in the case of Miss what's her name? Miss Comfort, Emerson.
Right.
Honestly, that is a fundamental statement on the way ordinary Nigerians without name recognition, who's not connected to someone big, that's what they get. And some people have tried to drag her, saying, "Oh, she probably."
No, I mean,
you know the stereotype they push on ladies, whether they are raped or they are violated or victimized. Easily, people conclude.
But what was she doing too?
No,
what was she doing too? What was she wearing too? She wasn't wearing a bra. She wasn't wearing a bra. She also smacked the hostess in the face. We saw that, but all of that we can only interpret those out of context.
Aggravation.
We don't know the full context of what happened.
When people are aggravated and they were the ones, you know, they were acting like I mean, what that lady faced today was a mob attack, a mob action. Like you were asking, couldn't have been a simple process of getting law enforcement,
arresting her. You're under arrest.
Everybody just swarmed, just mass on the.
They dragged her like they were dragging a goat.
And so, the long and short of this, the option for Nigeria.
Let me. Is to me things like this are very simple. Everything that she did can be easily taken out of context. What the institutions did, we saw the context. There's no reason why they should ever be.
So let me tell you how people, ordinary folks, win in this kind of situation. And I'm talking from experience, not losing my cool. For example, I was on the queue in the airport in Nigeria, the same Nnamdi Azikiwe airport, and we all had been waiting. I think twice this happened with the late Dr. Olushola Saraki. We were all seated in the plane, and for almost an hour, they said, "Oh, a VIP was coming," and they delayed the flight. I said, "So who is this VIP?" When he came, I was almost losing my cool. So this is how you're going to provide it. That was the circumstance in which I first met the in which I first met the personal lawyer to Rufai, and he really came to me that day and spoke with me responsibly. Since then, we connected. Lawyer Mustafa. Now, the second encounter I had with that kind of charade in Nigeria at the airport, we were in that same Abuja airport, and then the man who later became Minister of Niger Delta Development, Senator Alasho Adura, was almost coming, and all of us were on the queue. He just backed on to the front. I went to confront him. "Sir, you go back to the back of the line of the queue." Yes.
Now you're acting like American. Now you're acting like an American.
No, not just that. As a visionary, at that time I was a visionary young Nigerian, and the man who has been lucky to bag the first PhD in what's it called, space journalism, Felix Ali, was there that day, and there were other notable Nigerians. You know, I said, "You have to go back to the back of the line, sir." So because you are commissioner this or that, is that the reason why you would not?
It's excellency.
What excellency? There is no excellency in public misconduct. There's no excellency in public misconduct. So this is why this matter as it is. If they are going to make Miss Comfort Emerson face prosecution, I think King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal the first also must be prosecuted. It does not matter what people like Abike Dabiri are coming in to say, because she's always finding justification for everything. She never lived in the diaspora, but she's the chairperson of Diaspora Commission. Good luck to her. If that is the
it's
kind
not,
of image,
not today, but not today. I'm not even going to wait because we need to move on to other story. I was about
Thank you very much.
I was about to ask you what diaspora. What exactly is this office again?
honestly, I do not understand. Just food for the boys, food for the ladies. Let's move ahead. Thank you so much.
Moving on. Hit the like button, please. Shout out to Marriott. Marriott, I see you. Hit the like button. Let's move on to some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back.